the yak who reached the stars. Please subscribe so you don't miss a new story. In the remote Himalayan village of Langtang, nestled high in the mountains, there lived a yak named Yara. Yara was not like the other yaks in the village. While the rest of the herd contentedly grazed in the lush meadows, Yara dreamt of something more. He often gazed up at the night sky, captivated by the glittering stars that seemed just out of reach. His heart longed for the stars, and he believed there was a way to touch them. The Forbidden Ascent. One crisp, clear night, as Yara stared at the stars, an idea sparked within him. He would climb the tallest peak in the region, Mount Lhotse, to get closer to the stars. The villagers, however, considered the mountain sacred and forbidden. They warned Yara that climbing it would anger the mountain gods, but Yara's determination overpowered his fear. Yara began his perilous journey. He faced treacherous terrain, blizzards, and avalanches, but his determination kept him going. He learned to trust his instincts and adapt to the harsh conditions. As he ascended, he felt a connection with the stars above, as if they were guiding him. As he climbed higher, Yara encountered a wise old Sherpa named Tenzing, who was known for his expertise in mountaineering. Tenzing had heard about Yara's audacious quest and decided to join him on his journey. Together, they faced even greater challenges, and Tenzing shared his knowledge of the mountains with Yara. Their journey became a true test of endurance and friendship. They relied on each other's strengths and encouraged one another when the going got tough. Yara's dream of reaching the stars no longer seemed like a solitary pursuit, it had become a shared adventure. But just as they neared the summit, a fierce storm descended upon them. It was the kind of storm that could easily claim lives on the unforgiving mountain. With visibility reduced to zero, Yara and Tenzing huddled together in their makeshift shelter, battling exhaustion and cold. Yara wondered if he had made a grave mistake by defying the warnings of his fellow villagers. However, during that long, challenging night, Yara had a revelation. He realized that his quest wasn't about reaching the physical stars but about pushing the boundaries of his own capabilities. It was about the journey itself, the friendships formed, and the lessons learned along the way. He understood that the stars in the night sky would always be distant, but the stars within him, his inner strength, determination, and resilience, were shining brightly. When the storm finally passed, Yara and Tenzing decided to turn back. The summit would have to wait for another day. The journey down was just as grueling, but they made it safely, forever bonded by their shared experience. Back in Langtang, Yara was celebrated as a hero. He had not reached the stars in the sky, but he had discovered the stars within himself and the importance of friendship and perseverance. His story became an inspiration for the villagers, teaching them that the greatest treasures are often found within one's own heart. The village in peril. Back in Langtang, disaster struck. A massive landslide threatened to bury the village, and the villagers were helpless. They prayed to the gods for salvation. Just when hope seemed lost, Yara reached the summit of Mount Lhotse, closer to the stars than anyone had ever been. Feeling the urgency in the villagers' prayers, Yara made a life-altering decision. He didn't want to stay on the mountaintop while his home was in danger. With newfound strength, he descended the mountain faster than ever before, using his knowledge of the terrain to reach the village in record time. As Yara arrived in Langtang, he was met with disbelief and awe. His return was seen as a miracle. The villagers gathered around him, and Yara quickly assessed the situation. The landslide was inching closer to the village, and there was no time to waste. Using his newfound confidence and the leadership skills he had developed during his ascent, Yara organized the villagers into teams. They began a race against time, reinforcing their homes, building barriers, and diverting the flow of the approaching landslide. Yara's knowledge of the terrain proved invaluable as he directed them to strategic points. The whole night was a blur of activity, but Yara's unwavering determination and newfound mountain wisdom guided the villagers. Exhausted and covered in mud, they worked as a unified force. At dawn, as the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, Yara and the villagers saw their efforts pay off. The landslide's path had been diverted, and the village was safe. A collective cheer erupted, and tears of relief streamed down the faces of the villagers. A new beginning. The village of Langtang celebrated Yara as a hero, not only for his bravery in climbing Mount Lhotse but also for his selflessness in returning to save the village from disaster. Yara, however, remained humble, emphasizing that it was the collective effort of the villagers that had saved their home. With the threat of the landslide averted, Yara's tale began to spread beyond the village. News of his incredible journey and the courage he displayed in the face of danger reached neighboring villages and even the distant cities below. People came from far and wide to hear Yara's story, and he became a symbol of resilience and community spirit. The villagers of Langtang, inspired by Yara's example, came together to form a mountain rescue team. They received training in disaster management, first aid, and emergency response. Yara and Tenzing, the wise old Sherpa who had accompanied him on his journey, became the trainers and mentors for this new team. As time passed, Langtang transformed into a safer and more resilient community. They learned to coexist with the mountains, respecting their power and beauty. Yara continued to live among the villagers, tending to his herd of yaks, but he had also found a new purpose in helping his community prepare for the challenges that the Himalayas could bring. The moral of Yara's tale became a guiding principle for Langtang and neighboring villages. It was a reminder that the pursuit of one's dreams and passions should always be tempered with a sense of responsibility and a willingness to give back to the community. The stars within Yara had not only guided him on his journey but had also illuminated the path for his village. In the end, Yara had not reached the stars in the sky, but he had reached the hearts of his people, leaving a legacy of courage, resilience, and community spirit that would shine for generations to come. The stars, he realized, were not just distant points of light in the night sky but the inner qualities that make each of us shine in our own unique way. The end. Don't forget to subscribe.